I want to mention Jetta. You mentioned Jetta earlier, but I want to go back to that. This is the song that I was talking about where I'm like, potential threesome? Is that what am I reading? Am I reading? Am I reading this?
Alleged, alleged.
Like, am I reading these lyrics correctly? Let me just go to the lyrics here for you because I was genuinely like confused because she was very casual about it. She's dropping
Hmm.
this very casually, where she said,
Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how that album fits into the context of that artist's career. Everyone watching on YouTube, we thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to us, and leave us a comment. Let us know how wrong we always are. My name is Adriel Smiley, aka Champion Scribe, and we're here with His Royal Highness, aka the Bunny, aka maybe a Munch, aka Green Goblin, King Grant.
"What's happening, people? We're back. We're here with one of my favorite artists, clearly, Arlo Parks, and her latest album that I do not remember the name of right now. It is
Ambiguous Desire.
Ambiguous Desire."
Off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. One of your favorite artists.
Yeah, my favorite artist is releasing music. But yeah, Ambiguous Desire. Arlo Parks is an English singer, songwriter,
Yeah.
extraordinaire. Basically, I would say one of the strongest songwriters of our time, currently. I would definitely say that just because anytime I read the lyrics to one of her songs in the previous albums, I'm like wow, like genuinely wow. So
Hmm.
I think Arlo Parks, she is part of this British group of artists that we have been talking about for a while now that are just leaping everybody, especially the black women. It's really a lot of the black women that we've been talking about. You're jumping over other people. We haven't reviewed Olivia Dean yet, but she would be in
Yes.
that. But she would be in that group of like Arlo Parks. Your why am I blanking on people's names today? But like Arlo
Olivia
Parks,
Dean, Lil
Olivia Dean,
Sims,
Lil
Umi,
Sims,
Ray, Georgia
exactly.
Smith. It goes
Not
on and on and on.
not a big Ray fan, but we'll throw her in there just because. But yeah, so there are tons of people jumping in here, Sampha as well on that list,
Hmm.
who are just huge right now. And I think that England is having a moment right now musically in the Western world. How are you feeling about Arlo Parks coming into this album?
This is probably the first Arlo Parks album where I didn't hear any of the singles.
Okay.
I didn't hear any of the singles come into this, and I'm so happy that I did not. Because Arlo Parks is our first inductee into the Album Mode Hall of Fame. Okay.
Mm,
It's official at this point. And now, Album Mode Hall of Fame is almost the opposite of the NBA Youngboy Zone. The Album Mode Hall of Fame is we are going to review your album no matter when you drop, no matter
right.
who else drops. She's made it into that group. And I think why I brought up at first not listening to the singles is because she's at such a level as an artist that I'm okay. I trust her. I don't need the singles to get me excited. Whatever the full album is, I trust her with that. Whatever that we're gonna get, I'll listen to it in full. And this time, again, I was not disappointed. I want to go back in time a little bit to our past reviews, of course, because if she's getting to the Album Hall of Fame, there has to be a reason for that. Okay, now it's not just us. She has been critically acclaimed. She has won some awards outside of the Album Mode podcast. Claps and Sunbeams in 2021 received wide acclaim. It won the Mercury Prize as well. And then it was nominated for Best Alternative Album at the Grammys in 2022. So if you haven't heard yet, it's not just us, okay? Pay attention. Arlo Parks putting out some heat. Now, we've reviewed her twice, and if you know the podcast, we have some special music at the front of an episode for
Hmm.
a high ranking episode. Okay. She has always gotten that. There is not one album she has put out that has not gotten that high ranking music. Collapsed in Sunbeams, February of 2021. Do you remember the score that you gave it?
That was a 9.5 for me.
Yeah, you gave it a 9.5. I gave it a 9.
Hmm.
This is where the level. This is the level that she's starting
Yeah,
from.
she came in with that.
Came in scoring 40. Okay, so that's February 2021. We fast forward about a year, about 2.5 years
Hmm.
to my sauce machine in June of 2023. Do you remember the score that you gave it? This time we gave it the exact same score.
I think this is an 8.5 for this.
That's correct. 8.5 for you and for me. What I love about artists like Arlo Parks, who we rate so highly on every time we review her, is that me and Démar have talked less and less about these albums the more this podcast has gone on. When we first started the podcast, the friendship just overtook it. We were too excited about the music. We always had something to say. Now we try and save it.
Yeah.
And for us to both come into these album reviews and give her high scores both times says something to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that she is one of those people where the music just speaks for itself, honestly. I feel like not knowing who Arlo Parks is kind of that's your bad. Like if you're really in, especially when we were talking about these British women that are breaking through. Pink Panther's also on that list, by the way. Don't forget.
You forgot.
Virtuoso. I did forget. But yeah, these women that are breaking through, it's like if you don't know Arlo Parks and you like singer-songwriter music, that's just your bad. I think that she is such a it's like an artist that's like well read, you know what I mean? Like you could just tell that she is either living a lot of her lyrics or she is so incited, like so embedded in the lyrics that I'm like, damn, she must have read this shit out of a book or something, man, the way that she talks about specific things. So I think that it's Arlo Parks. I'm big on her. Always will be pretty much. Um and leading into this, I was like rubbing the hands together. I was like, here we go again. You know what I mean? I am looking forward to the next Arlo Parks project. And I am like you. I did not hear any of the singles. So I'm wondering what happened here. Did we just like did we just miss out or what's happening?
I actually don't know because I didn't even know the singles dropped. So
Hmm.
you're right.
Yeah, me
Something is
neither.
missing here because we are the audience. If anyone is gonna want to hear Arlo Park singles,
Yeah.
it's these two guys right here. So something
The
was a
messaging is
misstep per se in that we didn't get them.
yep.
I actually want to talk about the singles quickly, but before we do that,
Hmm.
she said something in NME magazine explaining how she conceptualizes the album as a whole. She said, it definitely was about healing. It was about putting words to a lot of feelings. It was about falling in love. It was about self acceptance and wanting to understand myself better and my place in the world, wanting to express myself and have fun. Those are a lot of things that she wants on this project, a lot of feelings on this project. But I think it's good to keep that in mind when talking about the direction of this record. Now, we did have the three singles. Okay, we had
Hmm.
Two Sided that came out in January, Heaven released at the top of February, and then about a month ago, March 9th, we got Get Go. Do you think they got it right with the singles?
I like the singles a lot. I think with Heaven and Two Sided in particular are also pretty good representatives of the album because when talking about this album in general, I just realized, I mean, not I didn't realize, but when I was listening to it overall, the guitar's gone. She threw the guitar out the window. Guitar is gone. We are bringing in breakbeats now. UK garage, hip hop, synths. Like she's abandoned the guitar, which is kind of interesting considering on the first album that she had, Collapse and Sunbeam, she's literally pictured with a guitar, right? So it's kind of or sorry, she's not pictured with a guitar. I thought she was holding a guitar in that. I thought she was holding a guitar in that album art for the longest.
I can see that how her hands are.
Yeah, the way her
I
hands are
can see
placed.
that.
But for somebody like literally her entire career up until this point, guitar was a core aspect of her music. For her to leave it behind was really interesting. The song on Two Sided, very almost like pop like a pop song. Again, the break beats are there. It's a very interesting look into the album as a single where it's we've abandoned the guitars. Abandoned it being super slow because now the music is faster. You have breakbeats in your music, it's going to be faster. So I thought Two Sided in particular was great for the singles. Did you like any of the singles?
Yeah, I think Two Sided might be the best song on here. It's not
Okay.
my favorite song, but this is one of the rare times where the single actually might be the best song as well. I
Mhm.
think this also was a song that kind of gets you into the album. Like you said, the guitar is gone, there's these synths, these lighter keys, the bass is playing a heavier part in this music. So Two-Sided does a very good job of that. There's one thing I think that really, comes into play when you talk about this music that you haven't mentioned at all. And this is kind of how I've been visualizing this album when I think about it, in my own head,
Mhm.
is Collapsed in Sunbeams and My Soft Machine are more of her sitting down.
Right.
This is her standing up and dancing.
Right. I
Like
agree.
that is like the two different actions I see in terms of these two records. So that's something I think comes into play now. She also said this in an interview about the DIY nature of these club influenced songs. I want to read a bit of that from what she said. She said, I never really went to university or had a moment where I could just be free and dance and move with a sense of abandon and anonymity. Came to that a little bit later, and I do feel like there's something personally that drew me into that space where you lose yourself and find yourself at the same time. I think that's very powerful when you talk about the sonics of this record. And the lyrics, we'll get to those as well, but sonically, that this whole album is that it's very dancey, very free. Someone told me this album makes them want to ride a bike.
Okay.
I'm like, whatever it makes you feel present, that's what this album is.
Yeah.
So I think like what she's saying in this quote really is how the album feels.
Yeah, a good example of this is on Heaven, which is another one of the singles. So that's why I was saying, like, I think the singles were actually very indicative of what's going to be happening on this album. Where again, this is more of like a dance element, like dance infused song. Um, Again, no guitar. If you're a guitar person, you still need to jump in actually on this, but I hate to leave you disappointed with no guitar. In Heaven, she says, uh, verse one, I was like, I wish I had the language to tell you the way this feels. You're embedded in me like a scar up my arm under the bridge, watching Kelly spin plates. And the chorus is, bodies in the summer breeze, concrete washing metallic green. Let's get involved. Let's get involved. Adidas and gasoline, or she says Adidas and gasoline. My friends are spilling out into the streets. Let's get involved. So this is what I'm talking. Where the person you're talking about, and just like over, this is an overarching theme. Is like she's in a Los Angeles party. Lots of parties. Going to places to party. Alleged threesomes. Being listed in one of the songs, and I'm just very like taking in the idea that she's really like embedding in Los Angeles. Even the idea of like under the bridge watching Kelly spin plates. I'm assuming that's under a bridge watching somebody DJ. So it's just interesting to see that she is gone. I would be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, a little less introspective than in previous albums, and is elected to pare it back for more. This is my life, hanging out type of deal. These are the things that I'm going through. It's kind of interesting.
This is kind of the track we've seen many young pop stars go.
Hmm.
From Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, where you're successful as a person in your early 20s, you get to your mid 20s, maybe your late 20s, you're like, I just want to actually enjoy myself
Yeah.
and do the things all my friends get to do. So I think I like to see that here where the music matches. You're right. It is not always these deep introspective records that we got in the last couple albums. We're not getting that here. But I like this version of this is also what life can be like. So I really love that. We got to talk
Hmm.
about this song, Senses, featuring Sampha.
Oh,
Maybe the highest rated link up in album history.
yeah.
Like if this was
Facts.
2K and they had album mode scores, they
Yeah.
would be the best duo in NBA Jam. I love this song. This song is actually so perfect. It feels like one of the more traditional records on here, just because you get Sampha in the chorus,
Hmm.
kind of like tying it all together. But what I love is that when you go from her voice to Sampha's voice, it feels seamless somehow.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
you can tell it's two different voices, but they blend so well. And Safa also being the only feature on here, it's like that one feature hits even more.
Yeah, I agree. I think, usually we ask, who do you think is the best feature? But it's just the one man. Sampha, I think that Arlo Parks did a good job in senses, kind of borrowing Sampha's sound from the previous album, which I cannot remember the name of, is a very abstract name. It's like something satellites or something like that. But I like that she was able to exist in that space. Sorry, Lahai. I'm thinking of I don't even know
You
what album.
always confuse that name of the song with the name of the album.
Yes, the
This is
song is
not your
called
first time doing
Satellites.
that.
Yes, the song is called Satellite Business, and the album is named Lahai. But this kind of like detached type of production, the slight. Do you think that's a guitar or do you think that's like a weird synth? I'm trying to figure out what that sound is.
I feel like it's some kind of synth.
Yeah. So there's that. Then you got the drums in the background, basically just like keeping count the entire time. And you're just like in this detached zone, like in Lahai. And I thought that she exists in that space really well. I think that this album shows that her attachment to specific instruments, not necessary, right? She can walk away from any sort of instrument and it still is well kept. So I like this song a lot. Sampha's vocals are phenomenal. I wish there was more. They should do a collab album, I think.
Just
Do
the
you
two of them. I wouldn't be mad at that. I actually wouldn't be mad at that. The one thing though, I Sampha has never gone this far into this sound, you
right.
know, and I spoiler alert, I like this sound better than the past Arlo Park sound. So
Me
this might
too.
be my favorite Arlo Parks album, like which is crazy to
Ooh.
say, but this is my favorite Arlo Parks album ever from her. And I just don't see Sampha going as far into this sound, and
Hmm.
maybe I'm prisoner of the moment, we'll say, but I don't want Arlo Parks to go back into that other sound. Now
Oh,
that she's here, I like it here, you know. So maybe we'll see. I got a couple more songs that I wanna highlight quickly
yeah.
because there's just so much good stuff all on this project. Jetta,
Oh,
the drums on here are so lively. This song has something the percussion the other songs will have is those like drum tom rolls in the pre-chorus.
yeah.
Um,
Some salt shaker.
yes, yeah. This is kind of like a blueprint for the album, as in like this is kind of the higher end in terms of percussion, and then it gets a little more simplified as you go on.
Hmm.
One of my favorite songs on here is Night Swimming.
Okay.
This song I feel like had a chance to be a single. It could have been, but
Oh,
again,
yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
a lot of these songs could have been a single. Like, let's be real about it. There is really like very few songs on here that you're like, nope, no way that could have been a single.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree. Night swimming is when I start to have the thoughts, the pink thoughts. The pink thoughts are coming to me when night swimming came on. I'm like, oh, garagey, a little garagey, man.
mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm,
like that she is. I mean, garage UK garage is like almost like a return to roots in a sense, right? So to see her make that type of spin and her vocals being more ethereal, like more ethereal than ever. Like if you think of like if you go back to Collapse and Sunbeam, it's everything is pretty flat, not in a bad way, but like it's everything is like delivered as is. And this
mm-hmm,
is the most it feels like let's, you know, switch up the production a little bit, uncork her vocals a little bit. Like let's do some things in the lab in the studio versus just having her sing into the microphone.
mm-hmm.
And I think Night Swimming is a great example of that when she has like these really, really, really drawn out vocals um throughout the entire verse. And I want to mention Jetta. You mentioned Jetta earlier, but I want to go back to that. This is the song that I was talking about where I'm like, potential threesome? Is that what am I reading? Am I reading? Am I reading this?
Alleged.
Like, am I reading these lyrics correctly? Let me just go to the lyrics here for you because I was genuinely like confused because she was very casual about it. She's dropping
Mm-hmm,
this very casually, where she said, okay, I'm going to read you the lyrics. Verse one: hacking a night bag, cigarettes, cash, phone, living in fiction for tonight. Okay. Pre chorus: Jumped into my Jetta, then we rode together, telling me about her day, right? So this is a second person. It was kind of tender. It felt like surrender. Getting close to Connors. So there's Arlo, then her. Connor is a man's name. I've never met a woman in my entire life named Connor. Maybe they exist. All right. Chorus. I've been thinking about the way I try the night on, thinking about the way I give the chase, thinking about the way I can't detach because I just want to stay. Cindy slips out first. So that's the woman from earlier. Blushing in slow mo, leather and pink chrome, head to toe, right? Hearing someone whisper, tipsy from the bitters, the drums are burning up my brain. It was kind of tender, felt like surrender, getting close to something. And then we go back to the chorus, I've been thinking about the way I try the night on, etc. Right? So stick with me. Arlo Parks. Then she mentions her going to Connors. Then she's talking about been thinking the way I try the night on, trying to find about the way I give the chase. I can't detach. And then Cindy slips out first. So that means there's, an order to the amount of people in this. Are you getting me?
I'm following. I'm following. Listen, it's like that Michael Jackson meme. Allegedly.
Uh, so I believe Arlo Parks is queer. I feel like I'm not even out of bounds saying that.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure Arlo Parks is queer.
No, no, she's
Um,
queer.
yeah. So there is a situation there, and she kind of like gliding past it, which to me was a little bit of a songwriting flub for her because considering what she has done with songs like Black Dog and even Hurt, Caroline. Remember Caroline, like where
Caroline's
she's
a big one.
yeah, where she's really going in deep on the emotions, feelings, all that type of stuff. And for her to like kind of hint and then you have to dig and you kind of read between the lines. I don't know. I felt the type of way about her songwriting in this. I think her songwriting may have taken a step back on this album, not gonna lie to you.
I don't think that it has because there are some sections that you're like, okay, that like thoughtfulness is still there.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes you can't overdo it with some of these records. These records are so dancey that it's
Right.
like it would sound crazy to have some of the old Arlo Parks content on some of these records. So I think she does what she's supposed to. Luck of Life, maybe my favorite song on here, one of at least one of my
Okay.
favorites. The bass on this song is so addicting, and it blends so well with her voice. Like this is one of the songs where her voice is more airy than usual.
Yeah.
And I think that it just blends so well. And then I love this little skit they have at the end. Excuse me. I want to give them some credit for that. 'Cause I thought that was so interesting. It says, "I'm here for you if you want to talk about it, but I'm also here for you if you don't want to talk about it." I was just chat about anything. But yeah, I hope you like the album. I send you lots of love, thinking of you. But also interesting. That reminded me more of the old Arlo Parks.
You know what that
You
reminded me
know
of? It
what?
reminded me of Brockhampton, and Romil from Brockhampton produced this song. They would have people in Brockhampton
Ah,
at the end of the songs being like, the guy that speaks in Spanish at the end of the songs
yes.
and stuff like that. That kind of reminded me of that. So I was like, oh, I remember she linked up with Romil on the previous album, right? So I was like,
Oh, yes, yes,
let me
yes,
just check. Let me
yes.
just check. And lo and behold, Romil, I see you. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, no, I think that's interesting, and it is a Brockhampton thing. So maybe Romil had a part in deciding that, but like that feels like the old Arlo Parks. And I
Hmm.
think what makes this album so interesting is that you have the blend of the, some of the old, song styles, but completely new tempo.
Yeah,
But I think the themes and the feeling, it still feels like her. Now you're right, it isn't the same songwriting in some of these ways because some of those songs were gut wrenching in the best
I
way.
know.
But I do feel like there still is a lot there. Now, this is my last set of lyrics before we
Okay.
talk about what this means for a career. What if I say it?
Oh, you like this
What
song?
I thought the song was so interesting,
I'm wishy-washy
so
on this one.
interesting, and I was too. It's one song I'm like I gotta hear this more than once to kind of see how I feel about it. It's grown
Mhm.
on me, of course, but there's some things in here that I'm like are so interesting. Okay. In verse two, she says, "You tell me that he changed your life, then you look at me with guilty eyes. Been feeling like a lie. I'm sleeping all day. I'm tired of being angry, tired of being brave. I'm getting in my head. The fear comes in layers. Do you think I'm someone else now? Do you see me? Do you see all my shame?" That for the first verse, I thought was is so strong. And
Hmm.
especially in a record like this, where she's going through all these emotions with someone she cares about, but that part where it says, the fear comes in layers. Do you think I'm someone else now? Arlo, I feel you.
Yeah,
I stand with you, okay? I feel you.
I get it. The thing is, her songwriting, again, in the first two albums, especially the first one, where like this is generational, right? For me.
Right?
So I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like she's taking a step back, and I'm like, we're still talking about the lyrics, like, wow, gut wrenching. This still is hitting like crazy, you know. So I think that while I don't love this song, this is one of maybe two or three songs that I didn't really love. The songwriting is still strong. Any songwriter would love to be able to put like 50% down of what Arlo Parks is capable of doing. So I think that is great. I will say there's a couple of songs I just want to before we move on that I was like, eh.
Mm.
South Seconds,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
boring. Not gonna lie to you. Like that was a boring song, which is that's really weird to say about Arlo Parks' music.
That's the one thumb on here.
Hmm.
Like, it's in the middle of Beams and Night Swimming, which are two great records.
Yeah.
It's the shortest song on here, so it even feels more like could we have done without it. So you're right. And to be fair, as a full listen, this is almost like your intermission.
Yeah, it's a
You
connector. I
know,
agree.
it is. I don't know if this album needed this connector. But you're right. This is the one song on here that I'm like, it
Yeah.
feels a little out of place.
Yeah. Okay, so for her career, Arlo Parks for us is in the Hall of Fame, Album Mode Hall of Fame. But it is definitely interesting to watch how I feel like her growth has plateaued. Uh
Oh
in the sense of like
wow.
who listen like the listenership of her music, it feels like it's plateaued. And even though that this I would consider is good, the explosivity to make it her larger or her music larger, I don't feel it. Like I don't feel a TikTok sound, I don't feel an Instagram reel sound, I don't feel a hit song, I don't feel a song that's gonna get sampled. Like they exist excellently, but I'm like, where is the explosivity? I guess is the best way to describe it. I call it explosivity. I'm sure there, media people or not media people, like industry people have a different word for it. But for me, I'm like, where's the explosivity? Is kind of what I'm wondering about.
I half agree with you. There is not that, I guess, standout dynamic record in a way that you're like, whoa, this is explosive. Like we
Hmm.
need this record. But I think that this body of work is kind of that. And I think about like a song like Two-Sided. Two-Sided on its own is like, oh, this is a good record. Add this to the playlist. The
Yeah.
whole album is almost so consistent that a record doesn't feel like that when you have it in the whole album. But I think this is ultimately good for her career because I think that, being an artist known for making good music is always a great place to start,
Yeah.
even if you're not a big artist. That being what your reputation is, very, very helpful. And I think this is probably the song or the album, I would say, where I see the most songs getting on a playlist.
Hmm.
I think like this is probably her best chance at that. And this is an album that's gonna have staying power. We'll see when we get to the end, but to me, this is an album that will age very well.
I agree.
And not just in years, but during 2026. So for me, I don't want to say it's plateaued because I still feel like this is a whole sound that people have not really heard from her. And for new fans who are getting into her, this is a whole new gateway. So I actually think that she's going to become more popular the next time that we review her music.
Okay.
But I think that the discovery will be, you know, gradual and organic. where it's like, have you guys heard this? Have you guys heard this? Like, oh, almost word of mouth, like the early 2010s.
Yeah, but she's been on since 2020 or maybe
Yeah, 2021 is
2019.
collapses. It's yeah, 2019 is when I heard of her.
Yeah.
Collapsed in Sunbeams is 2021.
So she's been on for a while. I'm not trying to disparage her. I love her
Hmm.
music. But I'm just like, I guess this is just like looking at the trajectory or what could possibly happen. It's like, I don't know if I see it. Okay. How do you feel about the cover?
This might be the album the most this year that feels like the cover.
I agree.
Yeah, this is definitely like a motion album. We talked about
Hmm.
driving, dancing. Body got to be moving in some
Yes.
way, shape, or
Yeah,
form to
yeah.
hear this album. And I think like the motion blur in the cover is a part of that. And then she's in a freaking car.
Hmm.
Like, so this feels maybe there's a few colors that are missing because I feel like brighter pinks or blues is what the album feels like a little bit, as well, just from a color perspective. But
Hmm.
I feel like these two actually have a match here.
Yeah, I love the cover. I like when she shows off her hair a
Hmm.
lot. She always has it colored in a funky color. So I'm always a fan of that. Also it's got an iconic look. Like, does anybody else really look like her? Not really. You know what I mean?
No. Hmm.
Um, and I feel like she's more tattooed, wears more jewelry now, but it's not like super extravagant. It's just like she wears like a ton of silver or whatever now.
Hmm.
But I think the cover looks great. I love the red. I love the motion blur that you were talking about. I love all the colors. Like I just think it looks colorful. It's reflective of what's going on in the album. It's kind of dark, like a night drive type of vibe. I feel like
Hmm.
that's kind of what she's going for. Not I have a night drive playlist that is more 88 glam, Playboy Cardi, etc. This is not gonna make it on that, but
This is a wholesome night drive.
yes.
You got the Hood Rat night drive. This is a wholesome night drive.
So yeah, I think it's it's gonna be on those, which is great. I think that her music is well suited for a lot of settings. So I'm
Hmm.
happy for that. Okay, now we're getting into the juicy parts. Is it a no skips?
For me, it is.
Okay.
For me, it is. I think the two songs that I love the least are South Seconds, and Flowette.
Hmm.
But I don't need to skip any of those. I think South Seconds is like it, I feel like I could live without it because even in my own Spotify, like I have all these songs liked and then South Seconds and then more songs liked. Um, but in the flow of the album, it doesn't get skipped.
Yep.
So for that I have to call it a no skips. What about you?
Yeah, I would call it a no skips too, especially because South Seconds just is like it's just an interlude. I think if she had just said interlude in brackets, we're not even talking about that song. But it's the fact
Yeah.
that she didn't make it an interlude and it's a full-fledged song. Got to talk about it a little bit.
Sorry, them's the rules.
Yeah, so I think it's a no skips though. Easily.
Mhm.
Easily a no skips. Is it a vinyl cop though?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. Like I might put my order in as soon as we're done recording this podcast.
Ooh,
My
you're pulling
first
to
vinyl
me.
cop of 2026.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that this is a vinyl cop as well, especially considering the other two were strong vinyl cops that
Hmm.
I have both of the records of, I believe. So she's on a hot streak. I can't lie to you. Adriel, do you have a score for Arlo Parks and Ambiguous Desire?
This is a nine, for me. It was on its way to a 9.5. It didn't quite make it there.
Hmm.
But this is a nine for me. This album I was into almost before I first stopped listening the first time.
Okay.
It brought me back to my childhood. I felt like I was 15 again listening to this album. I think what's great about this project is that it has such a good mix of kind of the airiness and the production and the vocals mixed with those UK garage drums, those break beats, that it's like it can still be upbeat, but it doesn't feel too heavy.
Hmm.
And I think like that mix is so it's hard to find right now in kind of this pop indie place I would call her.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a nine. This is my album of the year so far.
Wow. Okay. That is a strong, strong score. For me, Arlo Parks and Ambiguous Desire. It's an 8.5. I think that everything you said, I pretty much agree with. My only issue is I'm like songwriting. I think it's because she is such a strong songwriter at the very
Yeah,
beginning.
it's like
So I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of slippage here. We're gonna have to read between the lines, and it's not as poetic as the previous ones. But it's still strong in the songwriting. Song structure is also amazing. Her singing is I will say that her singing can be developed. I don't know if she's doing the basically it feels like one note or it's a very small variation from what she is singing when it comes to like the actual notes that she's hitting. But I am not watching that where I'm like, is it a choice or is it a limitation that's happening with her singing style? So I think it's an 8.5. Strong lyrics. I like the production change. I just wish that the songwriting was stronger and maybe a little Pink Panthers. Maybe.
maybe.
Sampha collab album would be sick.
Sampha collab album would be good. I am interested to see what the listeners think of who this album is missing.
Hmm.
Demar said Pink Panthers. We said Sampha as well. And listen, call me crazy. I think Drake would be interesting to hear on this. But
There are
let's go to the comments.
there are so many albums we've reviewed, also typically of women or black women, where I'm like, Drake would actually be great on this, but Drake with women in music right now is like persona non grata. I feel like he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't collab with a lot of women anymore. He used to in the past, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, very selective. I'm thinking Pimmy, Lotto.
Hmm.
Those are the only two that really come to mind. Kimika Bale, that was a crazy one.
Oh yeah, that was
Uh,
interesting. So it's a, but I feel like he's not like he was going to England to link up with like Central C or Dave or something like that, but not going
mhm,
over to England to link up with Pink Panthers, Arlo Parks, Ray, etc.
mhm.
He's not over there for some reason. He's there with Sampha, but that was over 10 years ago. He did a song with Sampha.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see who be the people to be working with Arlo Parks because I
Hmm.
do think a lot of this record is great music. And I'm interested to see again who's gonna even be aware of this. That's kind of what I want to see. Who is Arlo Parks on their radar? But listen, let's know in the comments on YouTube, album mode on YouTube. Do we have this ranked too high? Is it somehow ranked too low? Okay, because I'm giving 9.5, so I understand if you feel that way. Find us on the interwebs, Album Mode Pod on X, TikTok, and Instagram. You can subscribe to the podcast on all your podcast platforms. Leave us a rating and a review, 5 stars, not a single star less. And of course, until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later days.